Hi, welcome to the Big Bear Homestead, and today we're going to talk about the basics of raised bed gardening. So let's get to it. Okay, so today we're going to talk about raised beds. But before we jump into that, if this is your first time here on the Big Bear Homestead, hey, do us a solid, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget the bell. We'd really appreciate it. All right, so raised beds. In this video, we're going to talk about what is a raised bed and why you would want a raised bed. Well, a raised bed is basically a small garden plot that is raised. Raised beds are made for a couple of reasons. One is to control invasive plants. That's one of the main reasons. And two is the second reason is kind of twofold. One is to be able to garden in small areas, and for those of us that have bad backs or we're getting on in age, raised beds provide us the ability to still garden with not having to bend over as far, and it removes a lot of the maintenance that you would have with a traditional garden area with your row gardens. Now, here on the Big Bear Homestead, we used raised beds to control invasive plants. Jerusalem artichokes, mints, robins, loofahs. Those are the main ones. Now we also put other things in our raised beds that we want to make sure that we are able to harvest. Things like carrots, beets, things like that. Now we make our raised beds out of recycled pallet wood. Now, side note when it comes to pallet wood. If you're going to use pallet wood, make sure your pallet wood has been heat treated, not chemically treated or not pressure treated. Your heat treated, where your numbers are on your pallet, it should have an H. If it has a P or a C, no. Don't use that one, okay? Because you don't want those chemicals leaching in to your soil. But you can make a raised bed out of anything. Heat treated pallet wood, cinder blocks, bricks, tin. As a matter of fact, Mark from Self-Sufficient Me, he has awesome raised beds. That's all he gardens in. His raised beds come up about 3 feet. There's a company in Australia that took the corrugated pipes and basically turned them into raised beds, or at least I think it started as corrugated pipes, but they changed the material over the year and now they have kits. Mark also said, because of all of the quote-unquote demand, that they are possibly going to be starting to sell those here in the United States. If so, that's awesome. Hey, Mark, thanks, man. We appreciate it. Robin and I are going to eventually invest in some of those because of how high they are. That way, as we get on in years, me with my bad back, we can still enjoy gardening without having to go out there and bend over. So you can make a raised bed pretty much out of anything. Things I would stay away from are things that are chemically treated. Pressure treated lumber, pressure treated pallets, and if it's going to be for edibles, let me rephrase. I would stay away from your chemically treated pressurized wood, railroad ties, that kind of stuff, if you're going to be planting vegetables, herbs, stuff like that that you're going to consume. If it's just for flowers, then I'd say go for it. You should be okay. But you can make the raised beds out of anything. Now, why would you want to have a raised bed? Well, like I stated earlier, if you've got back issues, knees issues, you can't squat and bend over a lot, you'd want to start putting your stuff in raised beds and raise them up. If you're in the urban setting and you don't have a large area that you're able to do a large traditional garden, then raised beds are for you. if you're in the city, in an apartment in the city, and you have rooftop access, and you want to grow your own vegetables, you want to start becoming a little bit more free, then by all means, make you a raised bed, put it up there on that roof, and grow yourself some tomatoes. Now, in the videos that are going to follow today's video, we're still going to stay on raised beds, but we're going to talk about what type of soil to put into your raised beds. We're going to talk about square foot gardening. We're going to talk about hugelkultur. We're going to talk about all the different things that you can do inside a raised bed to be as productive as a traditional garden, if not even more. So next week, we're going to dive into the raised beds and we're going to talk about hugelkultur. Till then, thanks for coming by the Big Bear Homestead, and like always, have a nice day.